compete on price. They're designed to provide availability, credit, and local service to builders. Builders don't want to travel far to buy materials. They want them to be available, and they want to buy them on credit. And so builders merchants offer those three facilities to builders. And provided a builder believes that he's getting, broadly speaking, a competitive deal, that's okay, because actually in the RMI market, what happens is very often the end user will pay for the products, and they'll pay for the services of the builder. And so it actually doesn't really matter to the builder what the prices are, provided they are ballpark competitive.
I see. Okay, I understand. Then other question on the main customers. Some of the studies that I've read are kind of splitting the business between the individuals, so let's call it the do-it-yourself kind of market. Then the tradesmen, small construction, sort of regional small construction companies, and then the kind of big, larger national contractors. I guess like just really building like larger residential building, etc. I was a bit surprised at first sight, like to see really the split, because I don't know, I would have thought if personally I would be next to one of the store, maybe like primarily serving the tradesmen and SMEs population. But if I want to buy some roofing materials, some wooden floor or whatever, it's difficult for me to understand why I would go rather to like one of those big chain for do-it-yourself rather than builders merchant, if they offer the same kind of products and at an interesting price. So why is that market like so segmenting? Why would we split like this a market? Does it really make sense in your view?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it does depend on which builders merchant you're talking about, actually. Some builders merchants focus entirely on small customers, DIY people and small tradesmen, and they don't have any big customers. They tend to be the small regional independent builders merchants. You have them in France, you've got them all over the continent. It's the same thing. They're kind of mom and pop local builders merchant who serves the local community. But the national chains and the large regional players in the UK tend to split their business into really three segments. So they've got the segment that they call core customer, which is about half of their business, and that is small builders and the general public. And that's almost exactly 50% of the revenue that they generate. Okay. And then the other two segments are large contractors and house builders, and they tend to define house builders as being different from large contractors. So the large tier one contractors like Vinci, Engie, Balfour Beatty, people like that, they will be serviced by the same branches as who deal with the small guys. In fact, all the customers are served by the same branches, but they'll have a different sales and commercial effort to support the sales into those large tier one contractors, because if they're building a hospital or a school, what they require in terms of a service is different from what a small builder requires, clearly. It's obviously a different thing. And then house builders is the third segment. So the large house builders like Persimmon and Barratt, there are lots of them in the UK. They will have a separate commercial entity as well, because what they're requiring is a different thing. They're requiring a lot of bricks, a lot of blocks, a lot of direct to site deliveries of roofing materials, and that tends to be organised on a large commercial deal basis. So all over the country, a large house builder will pay the same price for the same materials, and they'll be delivering